Hello everyone. In this video, we will build a resume review agentic system. Whether you are a fresher or an experienced professional, everyone needs a stellar resume to grab the recruiter's attention. But why pay for LinkedIn Premium or hire a professional resume writer when you can simply build and use your own resume reviewer agent in 10 cents using large language models and libraries like CrewAI? So before we jump to building the agentic system, let me show you what our end product is going to look like. So what we have done over here is we have wrapped our code in a Gradio web application and hosted it on Hugging Face Spaces. Hugging Face Spaces is an amazing tool to prototype and host your AI projects. So all we need to do over here is drop the resume in a PDF or a Word doc format. Let's choose maybe Bruce's resume. So this is not the superhero, but a lab technician. And let's say Bruce wants to find a job in San Francisco. And let's hit the submit button. Since this resume agent is working on an LLM and there are 3 or 4 agents working behind the scenes, this is going to take some time to run. So it's going to take around a minute to actually show us some output. Let's wait for it. And there we have it. Look at this. We have got an overall score for Bruce's resume. He has got 7 out of 10 over there. Apart from that, there is very specific feedback on different sections. So there's no summary section in Bruce's resume, and the agent has advised Bruce to add a summary section, and similarly very useful feedback to talk about education, work experience, and various other sections in the resume. Quite elaborate. Next, based on this feedback, an agent has also provided a revised resume for Bruce. Here it is. It has added the summary section that it suggested and added relevant sections and improvements to various parts of the resume. Amazing. Just when we thought that this is great, one more amazing thing. We also have 5 jobs which have been recommended to Bruce based on the location that he provided, right? So let's say if we click on any one of them, maybe this one, we go to a page and the job posting is Assistant Clinical Research Coordinator. So quite relevant to the field that Bruce is working in. Okay, so we have seen how amazing this resume agent can work. But how is it that you can use this tool? So one way is that you can simply clone this repository. Once you clone this repository, you would be able to access this tool as well. And we will also drop the link for this agent in the description of this video. So apart from cloning the repository, what you would also need to do is you would need to add your own API key. To do that, you can go to the settings section, and if you scroll down, you would find secrets over here, right? So you needn't change anything else over here. Just click on replace, and in the value section, add your own API key. So we will be keeping this agent live for some time, but after that, you can use your own API key to work on this agent. So we have looked at how we can clone this repository. We know how to change the OpenAI API key. Finally, let's look at the code. To look at the code, you can go to the file section and look at the app.py Python file. This is the entire code for the resume review agent. We will also soon walk through this code, but this is where you can access the code and modify it as per your needs. Okay, so we have now looked at how this agent works and looked at its amazing response. Let us now move to VS Code and see how we coded this agent. Let's do that. So we will be building our resume review agent in 4 steps. Step number 1 would be to install the relevant libraries. Step number 2 would be to create a bunch of code which can help us extract relevant information from the resumes. Step number 3 would be to build the necessary agents to perform our tasks. And step number 4 would be to combine the different agents to get the end result. Let's start with step number 1, installing the libraries. Over here, we are using 3 main libraries. The first one will help us extract information from a PDF document. The second one will help us extract information from a Word document. And third, and the most important one, is CrewAI. CrewAI is a very popular agentic framework. It makes it very seamless to create agents and combine different agents to create complex multi-agentic systems. We are not only installing CrewAI, but we are also installing the associated tools of CrewAI. Once we do that, we move to step number 2, which is to extract information from a resume. So we have created the first function over here, which will help us extract the information from a PDF document. The next function over here will help us extract information from a Word document. And finally, the third function will wrap up the first two functions, and it will decide which one to call, depending on whether the document is a PDF document or a Word document. Once done, let's quickly check whether the information is getting extracted or not. So first, we will check out with a PDF document. All right, so it is able to scrape the information from this PDF document that we had. Let's also do a quick testing with a Word document. And great. So we have reached up to step number 2. We have the necessary libraries and we are able to extract information from the resume. Let's jump to the most important and exciting task, which is building agents and tasks. To build our agents and tasks, we are going to import 3 important classes from CrewAI: agent, tasks, and crew. Agent has a very specific goal in mind. It is generally designed to solve one particular task. And in fact, in CrewAI, it is highly recommended that we create agents for different tasks. Task represents the action item that an agent needs to perform. These could be detailed steps, and we could also mention the kind of output that we would want in the tasks. Lastly, Crew combines all the agents and their respective tasks into a one cohesive unit. So what we are going to do is we are going to import the 3 classes, and we are also going to read our API key. There are various different ways to read the API keys. You can either create a file like what we have done over here, or you can also set it an environmental variable. So feel free to replace it with your own API key. In this particular case, we have used GPT-4o-mini as the LLM of our choice. But feel free to replace it with any other LLM that you would want to use. So now that we have our basic setup, it is time to build our agents. We are essentially going to build 3 agents here because we want our agents to be very separate in the tasks that they are performing. The first agent is going to look at the resume and give valuable feedback to us. The second agent is going to look at the feedback given by the first agent and then provide us a revised, improved resume. The third agent is going to look at the improved resume, and based on the improved resume and the location that we provide, it is going to find us the relevant jobs. Okay, so let's look at the code for the first agent. Here we have created the first agent called Resume Feedback. The Resume agent takes 3 main things: role, goal, and backstory. In CrewAI, we use these 3 options to provide appropriate context for the agent. The most important one perhaps is the role. For example, we want to review the resume. So look at the role that we have specified over here: Professional Resume Advisor. This will make the agent think like a professional resume advisor. We have also given it a goal that it has to give feedback on the resume. And just to make it appropriate, we have asked it to make it stand out in the job market. Finally, with backstory, we can add additional context, which is going to help us create our agent for a specific goal. With that done, it's now time to look at the task that this agent will perform. In the tasks, there are 3 main parameters: description, expected output, and the agent. With description, we get an opportunity to give a list of instructions that we would want to be performed with this task. With the expected output parameter, we can specify if we want the output in a JSON format, in Markdown, or if we want it in bullet points. And finally, with the agent parameter, we refer which agent should be using this particular task. Another interesting thing that we have done in the description over here is we have mentioned resume in curly brackets. Note that this is not string formatting, but in CrewAI, when we mention a keyword in curly brackets, it is referred as an input. And we will later on see how this particular variable is getting used. Now that our first agent and its task are set, let's move to the next agent. The next agent is going to use the feedback given by the previous agent to improve the resume. So in this case, we have set the role as professional resume writer. For the task, we have done something slightly different. One, we have added the context. That means in the task, this particular agent needs to look at the output of the previous task because it is going to use the feedback given by the previous task to improve the resume. Also, in this case, we have mentioned the agent to be resume advisor. Next, we are going to create the third agent. If you look back and think about it, the third agent is supposed to find relevant jobs for us by looking at the resume. But to find relevant jobs, it would need to search the web. By default, our LLMs cannot directly search the web. So what we are going to do is we are going to use a tool. In this case, we have used a tool called Serper.dev tool, which is already predefined in CrewAI. You can get a free API key for this tool on the Serper.dev website, and you can load it very similar to the way we loaded the OpenAI API key. Okay, now let's look at our third and final agent. We have given this a role of senior recruitment consultant. It is going to find the 5 most relevant jobs based on the resume. Another thing which is different over here is we have added the parameter tools. This will specify that it needs to use the web search tool that we have just created to find the relevant jobs. Just like earlier, we have also created a task for it with an elaborate description. Another interesting thing that we have done over here is we have added location as an input, just like we added resume as an input in one of the earlier agents. That means these two things can be passed on as inputs to the agent. Okay, now that all the 3 agents are ready for us, it's time to assemble them with the third most important thing that we talked about, crew. To do this is very simple and straightforward in CrewAI. We set up the crew, mention the agents that we need, the resume feedback agent, the resume advisor agent, the job researcher agent, and their respective tasks. We have also set verbose to true so that we can see the output as it comes out. By default, in CrewAI, the agents would work in the sequence specified by us. So in this case, first, the resume feedback agent will work, followed by the advisor agent, and finally followed by the job researcher agent. Okay, it's time to put all this work into action. We are going to run the crew and we are going to kick it off. Now remember, we had set up 2 inputs. One was the resume and second was the location. So earlier in the video, we already got some feedback for Bruce's resume. This time, let's look at Anita's resume. All right, so we see some output over here. Let's see what is happening over here. So the first step is to look at the resume. So it is reading Anita's resume over here. All right. Based on the resume advisor is giving us some feedback. It has given a score of 8 to Anita's resume, and it has given some feedback, right? So it is also again advising to add a summary section and then relevant feedback for various different sections of the resume. Okay, once the feedback is collected, the feedback is provided to the next agent, which is the professional resume writer. And this is the rewritten resume, right? Very impressive. Okay, so now that is done, we get the resume in Markdown format. And finally, this improved resume is given to the senior recruitment consultant, which again wonderfully looks at the resume and gives us these relevant links to apply for the new position. So amazing work done by the resume agent for Anita. Let's just display this output nicely. What we can also do in CrewAI is that we can extract the output of specific agents. So that's what we are doing over here. We are extracting the output first of the feedback agent, and then let's do the same thing for the resume. Okay, this is the revised resume in Markdown format. And finally, let's look at the job postings. All right, so again, with Anita, it has given some relevant job profiles over here. So there are quite a few positions that Anita can apply for in her preferred location, New Delhi. And there you have it, your fully functional resume review agentic system. With 3 simple agents, we were able to get feedback on the resume, improve the resume based on the feedback, and we were also able to get relevant job suggestions based on the improved resume and the location of our choice. This is amazing. but this agent still has a lot of scope for improvements. Let me give you a few suggestions that you can try on your own. Perhaps you can add a fourth agent which can further customize the resume based on the appropriate job of your choice. So out of the 5 jobs that are listed, you can probably choose one and the agent can further customize your resume for that particular role. Another idea is that an agent could also write a cover letter for you for the job of your choice. Lastly, you can also build an agent which can help you prepare for the interviews that you're going to undertake for your jobs. This brings us to the end of this video. The links for the Hugging Face repository and the detailed blog are in the description below. Hope you had a great time learning. Let us know in the comment section below which agent you want us to build next. And don't forget to subscribe for more such content. Thank you.